We're glad you're still with us here on Morning at NTV. Time now for the Kickstarter, and we are going to be looking at the ground in as far as Uganda regaining the democratic momentum is concerned. Of course, this is all in line with the run-up to the 2026 presidential, parliamentary, as well as local government elections. Now, many of you do know that the political jostling is ongoing, including the much anticipated nomination of presidential candidates beginning tomorrow, or that is tomorrow rather. And of course, on ground, our teams will be bringing you the very latest in terms of perspective as well as insight on what is going on. So how do we shape up? Today, we are going to check the political landscape, especially in line with the youth and how that is playing out on set. I'm joined by Diana Ampeire Kampe. She is the national female MP flag bearer for the National Resistance Movement, having clinched that particular slot just a few hours ago, so to speak. I won't talk about it in terms of days. It could be 3 or 4, but those are hours. How are you doing, Miss Ampeire?
I'm very okay. Thank
Great.
you so much.
You're most welcome to Morning at NTV. Welcome to Siraje Kifampa.
Yes.
PFF flag bearer for Rubaga Mayor race.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Great to see you again.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay. Yes. We also have with us Honorable Frank Kabuye, Member of Parliament, Kasanda South, on the National Unity Platform ticket.
Thank you for hosting me with the panel, and I'm glad to be on this morning discussion.
Oh, great. First and foremost, let's begin with Madam. Congratulations. Being the flag bearer for the National Resistance Movement puts you in a good position, so to speak, in the run-up to the elections in 2026. First, take us through what it meant to run an election within the National Resistance Movement.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, NTV, for the opportunity. Once again, my name is Diana Ampeire Kampe, the National Female Youth MP flag bearer. Allow me to take this opportunity first to thank my fellow youth leaders for interesting me and believing in a centered agenda that we traverse this country selling to them. I really don't take their support for granted. And also congratulate all the other youth MPs that managed to emerge as the leaders or the flag bearers of NRM, and also to reconcile and request those that we ran with and call upon them. We unite and now focus on NRM mobilization, starting with tomorrow's nomination from Zay. Well, running under NRM ticket, I would like to say that one, I am an NRM cadre from as long as I've known myself. So it was something not really easy, but something that I enjoyed doing because I literally was doing something in my family that I would proudly associate with. It wasn't easy, but the fact that we have these structures from the grassroots and we participated fully in them, it gave us a very easy journey to connect with the young people up to the grassroots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that is an interesting one. And of course does speak about conviction and ambition, staying on it up until the higher echelons of political position. Mayor,
Yes.
so to speak. Incidentally, everyone that is contesting for any position anywhere, when they come to Morning at NTV, I refer to them for the position that they want.
Sure.
Why? Because we believe that you must speak it, so to be it. So do not be surprised if I call your contestant or your opponent mayor too,
And very soon,
in case they make it to Morning at
very soon
NTV.
I'll be declared mayor.
Talk to us about what your take is in as far as the political landscape right now is concerned. We'll be delving into what Rubaga is, Rubaga wants, and what can be done a little bit later.
Thank you so much. Once again, I have to say thank you, NTV, for this opportunity for us to be here to share views and opinions about our country. I'm glad that I'm with youth on this show, and yet I'm not a youth. I'm no longer a youth. I'm a senior. But as the political landscape shapes to be, we can say that there is a lot that is desired to be done. As we see the ever-shrinking civic space and dissent voices that are being clamped down by the regime and the security agencies, I think 2026 is going to be a season of violence if we don't manage it in the best way that we're supposed to manage it. So I think as a country we need to recognize that elections come and go, but Uganda has to stay, and Ugandans have to continue with their lives. So the best way to handle this is to treat it as any other election that has been here, not a do or die.
Okay. Do or die is a fear, actually, especially when it comes to some observers who see 2026 as something that will put many on the spot. But whether we actually see it as they see it remains to be seen. Honorable Frank Kabuye, National Unity Platform, you have the ticket, the card?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I'm sure I'll have it.
Okay. Tell us about the National Unity Platform's vetting processes that you have agreed to. I hope when you don't get the card, you agree. And if you get the card, you do not gloat over those who could have missed.
Yeah. So the vetting process is a party process that is within the constitution of the party, because as a young party we cannot go on to hold mass campaign rallies just like the NRM is doing, because of the many factors that can be at play. We know the manipulation that can be employed, the brutality that can come along, the malpractices and all those. So we try to avoid such situations, and the party opted to take the vetting process. In the vetting process, the party secretariat, or the vetting that we do at the party secretariat, takes or contributes only 40%. And the 60% is contributed to by the ground where you want to represent. The team, unknown team from the party secretariat is sent to your electoral area, and they come and do a survey. They come up with a report that they report to the electoral management committee of the party. And when you're invited, of course there are questions that are asked to you as a candidate. They have to assess your impact, your contribution to the party,
That's right.
the roles of the position you want to hold. Are you able to coordinate and mobilize for the party? Are you able to stand on the truth even when that truth threatens your life or threatens your integrity? Or you sell out just because you feel like, no, this has come, or this is my time to also gain something from those that are going to compromise you. So a lot is in that process. I believe those that have gone through it successfully can attest, and they can give the testimony that it was a fair process. Just like any other process or any other person, if you lose, of course there is that feeling that maybe the process was not fair. We have seen many of them go on air, we've seen many go on social media to claim the process wasn't fair for them. But some of them have been leaders, even in NUP. And when it was their time to have the flag, the process was very okay. It was very fair, up to when they didn't get the flag, that they saw the process as not fair. So I think as leaders, we just need to be convicted, because most of these people know the truth. If you lose the flag, you know the reason why you've lost it. In my constituents, I have people who lost the flag on local government. Some, we try to speak to them, we try to advise them and guide them on the way forward. We called for unity as a party, and as young people with big ambitions. We believe our politics is not ending in the 2026-2031 elections. We have other times to push our agenda and also to push our aspirations. But some of them managed to cross to the NRM. Some of them decided to come back independent, which is within their rights. But of course, when you do that, you're no longer associating with us as the NUP or as a political party of the National Unity Platform. Okay.
Siraje Kifampa, you've been around for quite a while, and your reading of the political landscape is one that we can take to the bank. When you look at the tendency by Ugandan politicians not to seem to agree that loss is part of the whole thing, doesn't that bother you, for example? Why should everyone think that it should be me to win? So much so that if they don't win, then all of a sudden the process, the system is flawed.
Two things. One, I want to make a comment to on the issue of the vetting process that NUP is employing, one that political parties should try as much as they can to democratize within themselves. In 2021, it was acceptable that it was a new party that had just been formed, but you've had a period of 5 years for you to build structures on the ground and make registers that could at least have an election that is not as big as the NRM. You could decide that for us, we've not had enough time to build structures right from the village. You can begin from the parish level. So that you put a box there and people come and vote. And then you make the 40 in the boardroom, as people have spoken on about the 60, right from the ballot box that you've put at the parish level, probably. But when you subject people's political careers to a few people in the hands of, to be determined by a hand of by a few individuals that are going to sit somewhere and decide on who becomes the candidate and who does not, dissent will always be there, and disagreements will always be there, and even the other side, if you flip it the other side, you would be offering an opportunity for people to begin bribing for them to get the ticket. I saw one of the members on the EMC yesterday speaking that saying that they've gotten evidence of people that had sent money. Someone had set up an office somewhere, calling people that when you send money, you're going to get a ticket. Such instances would not happen if you had an election where universal adult suffrage is involved, people come and vote. That is one. Secondly, people disagreeing to the results that have been issued or said, declared by the EMC or any other structure that has been put in place. It's normal that people would not feel good when they lose in any given setting, be it elections or any other kind of competitions that people might get involved into. Right. However, the challenge is politics became the only sure business where people can get money or can get wealth without working for it so tiresomely. So this is the only opportunity where people can get money. So it's a do or die. You lose, you get to know that you've lost money for the next 5 years. You've never heard of an instance that in the last 5 years or so many years of your life that this month Parliament of Uganda did not get a salary because we did not collect enough revenue for the country, so they are going to be paid probably after 2 or 3 months, or they will be given areas like any other civil servants have. So people would strive hard to go to that parliament. People would strive hard to go to that political elective office because they are sure that the easiest way to wealth accumulation is for you to get into an elective office.
Wouldn't you then say, for example, and just let me stay with you on this very short, wouldn't you say that in light of the fact that it has now turned into some sort of business, it's welcome to have a semblance of vetting to it, so as to reduce on the number of those who might actually be looking at it as a business and not necessarily a service?
No, the issue is not having a vetting process that would look into, because even the vetting process can only talk about people and hear what their views are, but they cannot go deep down into their hearts to know what they are thinking. So what I'm saying is that ultimately, we are going, even if you vet, these people are going to be subjected to the population to vote for them to go into those offices. So why not hold that simple kind of voting that would make people satisfied after the process? However, I was coming to the issue of monetization of politics and making politics as business.
Very quickly.
Government should should reduce the salaries of political officers. And put more money into public service, into professional jobs and whatever, so that people can yearn to go into those offices. But today, professors are abandoning their teaching, abandoning their offices at the universities. Instead of doing research and teaching, they are running into politics because they know even a senior graduate can become a president, can become a minister, can become a member of parliament and earn that huge salary. When for them, they are in the university doing research and publishing papers when they cannot have even half of what these ones.
Interesting there. The call or that appeal is being made to people who are supposed to basically make the rules of the forest while they are the monkeys there. I hope that appeal goes through. Madame Ampeire, the national resistance movement often uses consensus when there is a really tight issue where a vote or democracy cannot be exercised. For example, the Entrepreneurs League, we saw consensus arrived at for the head. There was also contention or talk within the party that certain people stepped down, not because they actually wanted to, but there was a hand behind negotiations, discussions that determined people, or rather compelled people to step down for others. Do you think that is a good way of handling governance and democratic processes?
Well, one of the principles of NRM is democracy. So I would like to, first of all, in the entrepreneurs, I also watched news like others did. Okay. But I want to imagine, and from the news that we gathered here and there, it was a personal decision done between the candidates. Because in NRM, we take each other as brothers. If they found that their agendas are maybe aligning and they could form one thing, instead of monetizing the whole process like he had said. Because remember, there was a postponement already, and they sat and maybe made a consensus. But I wouldn't really tie it on NRM, but maybe our party chairman, because they couldn't hide themselves and decide that, you see, we are fronting you. Our party chairman, because he's the chairman, he had to come through and be the one to announce. But as NRM, democracy is our strength, and it's so, because I'm representing the youth, we just practiced it openly. So I think that was a personal decision between the comrades of entrepreneurship.
Okay. Let me stay with you on governance and policy making. I see a rising wave where youth have seemingly finally taken on the mantle of taking on political positions. That is, if the participation levels across the country are anything to go by. Do you see a genuine chance within the existing structures of the governing party for you and your like to actually have your voices heard?
Well, first of all, I want to thank NRM for including us and making us part of the decision-making table right away from villages. Because unlike other parties, for us as NRM, we have our structure starting from villages and with all the SIGs, including the elderly, the PDMs, the PWDs, the women, and everyone. So that alone shows how much willing NRM is ready and the government is ready to listen from all voices starting from grassroots. Yes, well, if you look at the demographic population, that's 78% of our country, and we have at least every district, we have DEC, we have not less than 30 young people representing the millions of this country. That enough is enough voice. When we come up here, we have very different structures. We have Youth League, we have NYC, National Youth Council, we have Member of Parliaments. In all these policies are made in all these structures, and services are delivered, and through that our voices are heard. When you come to the parliamentary seats, we have 4 regions in this country, that is Northern, Eastern, Central, and Western. And they even added a voice to really represent the girl child, or the affirmative action of empowering a girl child to have a national female youth MP. So to me, really, our voices are represented. It's now going to be upon us, the leaders that they have sent up here, to choose to champion them and amplify them and go back to the young people and deliver what they sent us for. But as a government, it has tried to set a pace. Then we are here also to help them. So our request to the government is to give us an ear, but the room is already there. All right.
Yeah. That's quite inspirational, especially for the other youth out there. Mr. Kifampa, yes. Kampala is a hot spot for the governing party, and many times the president has expressed his love for the fact that if it were possible, every position, political, should be occupied by somebody of the National Resistance Movement. You are from the People's Front for Freedom.
Yes.
And many other positions across the Kampala metropolitan area are being heavily contested by people from the National Unity Platform, Democratic Party, as well as other political vehicles. What realistic mode of operation do you offer in a political space where you are not needed by the government and where the government has consistently preferred not to cooperate? How do you intend to work?
For starters, I want to say this, that world over, governments that have overstayed in power, people in urban centers tend to reject or to resist the government. It is just natural that in Kampala metropolitan, the capital city and the surrounding districts, they are strong opposition. They are opposition strongholds. Today you see the president is in Kololo, the other day he's in the State House dashing out money to mechanics, 11 billion shillings. The other day he was in Kololo giving borders 10 billion shillings and the like, trying to sway them to the NRM. However, the population down there sees the struggles they go through daily. For them to contribute to this country in terms of taxes they collect from them. And they see the services that are being offered to them in terms of service delivery, the roads, the health sector, and education, and many other sectors that you can talk about. So they understand that the government is not working for them. So that's why they will always vote against the position of the government. Now, when it comes to the way how we are going to operate, how are we going to handle? You know, we have a constitution in this country that guides us and gives us responsibilities, roles and responsibilities in each and every office that one occupies. We've always been here. I think for the last 25 years, government has not had the opportunity of governing Kampala city in terms of the mayor, in terms of the divisions. If you looked at them, majority of the mayors that have been in those divisions have been opposition mayors. Even the Lord Mayor or the mayor back then, for the last 25 years, from Sebagala to Sebana up to the present, these have been opposition members. So they've always managed to survive, and they've always managed to offer service to their communities. So I believe that if we win that seat in Rubaga, we can still serve, because what we come with at the division is offering leadership that is lacking at the division right now. You know, Rubaga has got a special status in Kampala. When you look at all the divisions that constitute Kampala district, Rubaga has got the headquarters of the 3 or 4 main religions in this country. That is the cathedral in Rubaga, the one in Namirembe, the Orthodox. You have the biggest. You have the biggest Pentecostal church in Indeba. You have the Uganda seat in Rubaga. You have the royal tombs and many other things that are found in that division. So it requires a leader that is formidable, that is credible, that can steer that division. But what we see apparently, that is lacking. We have a mayor, I'm not here to criticize him, but just to mention this, who was elected into that office with 64 NUP councillors. 64, that is the biggest number a mayor has ever entered office with. But NRM that had only 11 councillors managed to take the speakership from the mayor. As if that wasn't enough, he appointed his deputy. 2.5 years down the road, they fell out, and he had to remove her from office. She ran to court, and court reinstated her. So we have 2 deputy mayors in that division. The one who is sitting in office and the one who is earning a salary. So such things cannot, that chaos cannot happen again if I'm the mayor in that division.
Frank Kabuye, opposition working with the government. Many Ugandans see the two as opposites. Yet the realities require that cooperation is integral in whatever operations that they are undertaking. The National Unity Platform stands a formidable chance of occupying many positions where there has been contestation between the president or the governing party, so to speak, and the opposition. Yet, services have to be delivered. Now, there is a likelihood when we are heading into the election to make the promise that we are going to make things happen, when actually you know that things are not going to happen, and that is a challenge in itself. I don't know whether that is a conversation that ever happens within the strategy rooms of any one opposition party, including the National Unity Platform.
When you look at the situation right now, working with government, like in any other country, like we've seen it in Kenya, we've seen it in South Africa, where government and opposition have united to give leadership to the people. When it comes to the situation of Uganda, most of the time the agreement that they want to go in, if it is government and the opposition, is about compromise. And those that have been willing to compromise their values, to compromise their beliefs as parties or as opposition leaders, and they have managed to go in agreement with the ruling party, we have seen how much their integrity has deteriorated over time. Some we used to look up to when we were still in institutions of higher learning, and we would admire their leadership. But even now, even our grandchildren, we want to be able to tell them or show them the good stories of these leaders that have been in the opposition but now speak contrary. So anyone would want to serve the people, because that is all we desire. Even in the opposition, we want to be given a chance as NUP to show the world or to show the country that yes, things could have been done in a better way than the way they are being done by the current regime. But going into that dark room to speak about it, to see the possibilities, first, the environment must be favorable. We are not going to go in negotiations or in dialogue when you're arresting or abducting my supporters, when you're incarcerating them, you're holding people's children, they are in jail, young people. Since 2020, we still have people who are still in jail. And their only crime is to be subscribing to the National Unity Platform. And we expect that leaders from those political parties will be interested in negotiating or sitting with the ruling government to face the way out on how we can best lead or serve the people, the people of Uganda. You first to action. You release or free all the political prisoners, because you know and you're convicted that they have no crime. Their only crime is supporting a party that is contrary to the one you subscribe to. So give them a chance to be free. Put the environment that is favorable for everyone. If it is about democracy, let it be real democracy. Let us see people decide who should lead them. If we reach at a time and even the opposition is convicted, yes, we lost the election to this person, or even if the regime is convicted that yes, we've lost to NUP, now it is NUP in charge, are we going to work with it? It must be on a fair ground, a ground that will be favorable, or to convince everyone to know that yes, it was not malpractice, it was not by force, but the people decided, and yes, we can go and support your ideas. We give you what we wanted to implement. You also share with us, and we see how best we can draw a line of conclusion on how best we can serve the people of Uganda. But looking at the situation at play, when we are seeing arrests, abductions, like the ongoing arrests, they're arresting people, putting military drill on everyone. Even if they pick you from your home, they will say you are in military drills. Even if they get you from school, even those that have just landed back, some have been arrested. Even those that were not even in the country during the celebrations of the so-called illegal drills, because we don't see any illegality there. NRM has been holding their people, youth and old, doing the military parades or drills with even soldiers. Some have been in the military uniform, but they are not touched. No one says about anything. And then you go to people who have been chanting. The other day, we were in Masaka. When we came back from Masaka, they brought Eddie Mutwe and Akideo, and on the charge sheet, they put that they were chanting people power slogans. So we wonder which situation are we in, and if that situation and the way the regime is operating is really calling for a dialogue or calling for a situation that you can sit and be like, yeah, we accept this, let us agree to serve the people of Uganda in this and this way.
Okay. We do hope that some sort of a compromise can be reached where service to the Ugandan is the foremost issue, especially when it comes to the conduct of politics. I'll be switching very briefly to the youth agenda.
I wanted to clarify something.
But please do in a minute.
In a minute.
Yeah.
That the framers of the Constitution of Uganda hoped us a lot. They knew that the people that are being elected into offices are going to play politics. Then they put a section of the technocrats. In every local government, whatever position, you'll find the technical wing. When you come to the KCCA, you have the ED, that is the technical wing. Then the political wing will be led by the Lord Mayor. When you come to the divisions, there is the mayor and the town clerk and the likes.
That is right.
So issues that concern the services that are supposed to benefit the ordinary Ugandan, the technical wing is done that is responsible for that. For example, in terms of budgets, it is the executive director. What council does, just approves and passes the budget. You understand? When it comes to the road network and other services that you can talk about, council just does the oversight and approves the budget, but it's the technical wing that does that. So things that would affect people politically, the technical wing will handle. You understand? For the mayors and the political leaders to be playing their politics in terms of oversight and approving budgets and others, that is what they do in those offices.
The question is that also done very efficiently? But of course, it can be a discussion for another day. Allow me step into the youth agenda. Winning the NRM flag for the female MP position is not the victory in itself. It sets you up for a very, very long battle up to the general election, when the votes will have to be pitted against other contestants from other parties. But what is the youth agenda when it comes to what you'll be fronting ahead of 2026? What do you think are the critical pillars that ought to be tackled now or even yesterday?
Well, since you all know that youth, we really cover the biggest population in this country. It puts us at a stake of when it comes to any challenge of the country, we are affected most. And we know one of the biggest challenges we have in this country is unemployment. I'm not really talking about this as a politician, but as a fellow youth who has been faced with the same challenges. So we have the biggest problem as a generation or as a youth, which is unemployment. But well, we also want to thank the government that it has really thought about us through different policies of like YLP, which is Youth Livelihood Program. When you look into the National Development Plan 3, you see how much they are trying to include us in the, economically, you will find a 30% PDM and very many other. But that, yes, it's necessary and it has impacted, but it's not sufficient because, like I told you, we are very many. So you see that, yes, we have skills here, skilling hubs here and there, but you see that, yes, there are these channels, but we are still lacking some, coordination, monitoring, and some funding. We cannot run away from that because the fact that very many other things to be delivered, we need some funding in them. Okay. So the biggest problem, I don't really appeal to my fellow youth to come to politics or join this arena as a source of employment. No, to me leadership is a different thing. It's for delivering services. But how do we be helped? How do we be looked at as young people to be empowered? We would look at our education system as well. We've been doing more over, the theoretical part, not the technical and practical part. So we appeal to the government because very many young people, the government has laid structures from the UPE, and personally, I'm a product of UPE. So I wouldn't have attained this education if it wasn't. But yes, it is there. But you finish school and see that, yes, I have bachelor's in procurement and supply chain, but can I practice it? Can I immediately? And I think this affects us and contributes our unemployment unemployment rate, because you will leave school and they'll still tell you, we need 3 years experience. And you're like, I just left school, how do you still need experience? And I think they've tried to favor the young people in medicine. Most doctors immediately after they have that interning 1 year.
Yeah.
So our request would be to reduce on the rates as well. If they could try to, you know, have a match of the theory and the practical education, so that one leaves school and they might not need that experience. I can easily come here to NTV and I don't need to have worked somewhere to have that experience.
Okay.
So unemployment, to us there, it can be tackled for. The government has really tried to put some channels. When you look at that YLB, very many jobs have been created. When you go deep down to the grassroots, very many young people have engaged in agriculture, in animal keeping, and they are really trying to add some value onto their lives.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, unemployment is our biggest. Then we have a challenge of mindset change as well. We could also request the government to look into it as a generation. I happen to be a patriotic cadre of NRM and this country as well. When we would request that the government looks at empowering us with knowledge, orient us, and sensitize us on what to do, it will work on our mindset. Because to us, we believe as NRM, the challenges we have in this country is not necessarily that it does not matter the vessel of the party you take. These are just parties, but all the young people of this country really need this information to be sensitized. And yeah.
Does it ever concern you, youth within the national resistance movement, the amount of persecution, the amount of lack of opportunity that many who do not necessarily align with the national resistance movement don't get? For example, NOP has supporters arrested, many of them are young girls and boys. Does that concern youth within the NRM? Is it something that you talk about in the spaces where you find yourselves discussing with the leaders?
Well, I will talk as a Ugandan at this time around, because as NRM, when it's getting to arrest those young people, we have very many young people who are arrested from Kololo, just the recent youth election, and they were all under NRM. So a criminal is a criminal, and if you break the law, it does not matter which party you belong to. And I would appeal, since we are going to an election as well, we have all constitutional rights of choosing which party you to support. But I would request we do a peaceful election to avoid all the other things, and we don't take it or look at it as a party.
All right, gentlemen, I'm afraid I had to do that because many times there is a tendency to assume that when the others are facing it rough, when you have the advantages, you do not really care. But if her words are anything to go by, she seems to care. Thank you for making it this morning. We've not exhausted pretty much everything, neither can we, even if we were given the